Salute BookTube, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. We are at volume 10 of my Celebrating Booktubers series. Um, this is pre-recorded. That's the first thing I wanted to say. These videos are pre-recorded, so if it sounds out of date or I've missed something, please do excuse me. But we are at number 10, and this is going out sometime in towards the middle of July, I would imagine, and we are getting Paris very precariously close. That's what I wanted to say. Very close to the World Cup finals, the soccer or football World Cup finals, which are being held in the United States. Um, and anybody who knows football or soccer knows that the number 10 is a very important number in football, especially in football jerseys. Usually, the best player in the team in soccer, the captain, usually wears number 10, the star player. So, this is series number 10, and I thought we would put a star player from BookTube here, celebrate for this edition. And that person is my good friend Andrew at You Could Be Reading More. Andrew is a legend on BookTube. He is, I think, one thing people don't recognize when they watch his videos. I certainly don't, because I think it's very mature, but it's how young he is. How young he is and how well read he is. He's just so well read and he's young. But Andrew is out of Australia. He's a prolific booktuber. He's one of those booktubers who likes to to bombard, but in a good way. In a good way. He has eclectic reading taste, but meaning he reads widely. I think his favorite, according to him, just watching his videos, I think his favorite genre is romance. But he reads nonfiction. He reads the classics. He reads contemporary fiction. He reads biographies. He does everything really. Number 10, the captain of the BookTube team, Andrew. So, thank you, Andrew, again. He actually left a comment calling me a legend, so I wanted to return the favor with this video. I was debating what to do with Andrew. I thought maybe I would get whatever books I have about Australia, because Andrew is out of Australia. Um, but I don't have that many books, and I didn't know I just talk. I have some random books about James Cook and his his journey. I thought better maybe I do a tag. So I found this tag on Andrew's channel. He did it now. It's over a month ago, so it's really old. But and this BookTube tag has gone around BookTube for a long time. It's really old, but I never did it, and I wanted to do it. At least I don't think I did it. I'm getting into that stage. I've done so many videos. It's a bit risky to do an older tag because it's like, have I done this before? But I don't think I have, and I want to. And I found it on Andrew's channel. I'm gonna link Andrew's channel below. It's called You Should Be Reading More. You all have to subscribe. You all should check him out. He's really good. The tag is called the BookTube numbers tag. And again, this was created, we should give credit to the creator, Jim, at Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. I'll link Jim's channel as well in the show notes below. Without further ado, let's go to the prompts or the questions. There's 10 of them. Number 1, what was your first BookTube video? For me, the first BookTube video I did, there was a BookTube newbie tag, but I didn't want to do that first. I actually had a bunch of books because, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. Before I started my channel, and my channel is about a year old now, not that old, a year and a month. A year and 2 months, actually. So 14 months old, not very old, but just before I said, should I do this BookTube thing? I actually was practicing. So I would put the camera and record and just do it and not upload. Just watch it myself and see, would anybody actually watch this? So what I was doing to practice was book hauls. I'd have books and I would just practice in front of the camera and do a book haul and imagine that I was on BookTube. I did that for a few weeks and I said, you know what? I'm going to actually pull the trigger and start uploading. So the first video I did was actually a book haul, and it was a big book haul. It was a 3-volume book haul. I usually do big book hauls. I usually accumulate the books and then film them. So I did that. So I did 3 videos. You can see it if you go on my channel and then you list the videos by oldest. I think I called it the first video. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what the video is called. And then there was a second part because it was a book haul, and then a third part of the book haul. And then my fourth video was the actual BookTube newbie tag, which is what most people I think do as their first video. But yeah, that's my answer. And speaking of book hauls, I actually it's been a while since I did a book haul. That's not to say I haven't purchased books. I have, and you can see some of it right there. I apologize for the mess, but I'm doing a bit of cleaning and a bit of organizing, so there is a bit of books here on my desk. But I've got actually quite a few books. I do need to make one big summer book haul video. The only problem, and I mentioned this in my last video, is I thought I would have a summer of just a regular routine summer of reading and booktube, but it seems like I have another trip that's going to require me to travel outside of to travel abroad, and that's going to mean probably not a lot of booktubing, not a lot of videos, and it's going to affect my reading. So I don't know if I have time. I want to finish this series, this celebrating booktube series. If I have time, I'll do a book haul video because it's gonna be a multi part. I bought so many books this summer. It's gonna be a multi part book haul. Maybe I can pre-record it and then upload it while I'm traveling. So that way you those of you who are crazy enough to miss me, perhaps you can still watch it while I'm away. They'll be pre-recorded, but better than me being, or is it better than me being completely absent? We'll see, time permitting. This celebrating booktube series takes precedence. Question number 2: how many books are you currently reading? Actually, again, I'm filming this at the end of June, the beginning of July, so it's a bit of a transitionary period. Usually, at the end of the month, I decide the books I'm going to read for that month. So because we just finished the month and a new one is starting, I'm a little bit in a transitionary period as well. I need to think because I just came back for travel, and it looks like I'm going to travel again. And when I travel, I don't read as much. I don't booktube as much. I don't upload videos. I don't have this background. So again, a bit transitionary. I'm almost done reading this. This is Thomas Asbridge's The Crusades. I'm near the end. It looks like there's a lot, but a lot of this is notes and index. I'll probably finish this today. Tomorrow, I'll maximum. Almost done. So this is The Crusades. The other book I'm reading, it's a bigger book. It's actually I read this. I started it before I went traveling, but I stopped it in the middle, which I don't like to do. I don't usually do, but I stopped at a good place. I stopped like just after the first crusade, and I came back to complete it, and I'm almost done. I was hoping to read more books about the Crusades for Historathon Q2, but it's pretty much just this one. But it's a big one, and it's an overall an overarching history, a general history of the Crusades. So it turned out well. The other book I am reading is, I hope, is this. I'm reading this as part of a book club, Jeff's book club, The Slow Burn Through History. This is Rick Atkinson's The British Are Coming. Long subtitle, The War for America, Lexington to Princeton, 1775 to 1777, Volume 1 of the Revolution Trilogy. Winner of the Pulitzer Prize as well. And a New York Times bestseller. Another big book. I don't know how many pages this is because this is Kindle edition, but from the Kindle it looks like 700 plus, almost 800 pages. So those are two big books that I'm reading. There are other books I'm hoping to read. I'm a bit behind. Let me see if I can pull it out. But they're smaller books, so I'm hoping I can read these. And these are also for another book club. Vince's book club, Traumatic Book Reads. Well, for his book club, we're reading Notes from the Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Sorry about the glare of these white covers, but I'm also adding to that a small novella, short story by Fyodor Dostoevsky called White Nights. So these are the two, White Nights and then Notes from the Underground. I'm reading those as well, although I haven't started. I have to purchase these on my Kindle, and There's an issue with my credit card. My bank has blocked it, not because there's no money, but there's some. I'm not gonna bore you with my personal, but hopefully I can get to those and finish them quickly, albeit a bit late. And then yeah, what else am I reading? So those are mostly holdovers from June. July I'll be reading. I hope to be reading more newer books, but I'll save it for now. Just those are the books I'm reading for towards the end of June, early July. Um, I'm trying to finish up as June is well, when this comes up, it will probably come up well into July, but I'm recording this at the beginning of July, very early July, July 1st. I think today's the 1st. Yeah, so that's that. Where do we? I'm all over the place here. What's the next prompt in the? Just give me a second here. I'm very bad at this. We'll go back to the prompts, the questions. Number three. What were the top three books you read last year? The top three books I read last year. So last year is 2025. You see, I think this tag was invented, or was it started in early 2026. So. But we go back to 2025. I pulled out three books because it says three. Um, Let me just fix my ergonomics so that there's no accidents while we're filming. So three I picked again. Those of you who are new to my channel, I'm mostly a nonfiction, mostly a history reader. So I'm gonna have boring nonfiction titles, but I'll add a fourth fiction. Cheat a bit and add a fourth fiction. The top three books I read were nonfiction, but I'll add my favorite fiction from last year that I read. So the first nonfiction was this book, Nomads by Anthony Satin. The subtitle is The Wanderers Who Shaped Our World. This is a paperback. I don't like this cover. I think there's a nicer cover on the hardboard. There's another paperback with a nicer cover. But anyway, Nomads is exactly that. It's about nomads, it's about the nomadic spirit. And these are nomadic. Anthony Satin, I think it's pronounced Satin. He sort of just describes and explains the significance, the importance of nomads in history. So we get some of these kingdoms and empires, nomadic kingdom and empires that maybe we haven't heard of, but they were important. The Scythian, the Xiongnu, the Persian, the Han, the Arab, the Mongol, the Mughal, the Ottoman, among others. And Satin uses the great. I should know. I just want to get it. He's like a travel writer. I mean, this is history, but it's also travel writing. But he uses the famous Arab historian who wrote the Muqaddimah, Ibn Khaldun, I believe it is Ibn Khaldun. I should know as a Middle Easterner and as an Arab. I just mix up these medieval Arabian writers, Islamic Arabian writers. But I think it was Ibn Khaldun and his Muqaddimah, in which he and Satin regurgitates that hypothesis. The hypothesis is that nomads come from the wild, they settle into civilized world, they take it over, and they develop they renew civilization, because civilization's city is founded, it grows, it reaches its peak, and then it becomes affluent, and then after it becomes affluent, it becomes weak, it becomes what's the word? It becomes weak, it becomes corrupt, it becomes corpulent, it weakens. And that's when nomads come in and take over, and they come in with vigor and strength, and they have military prowess, and they renew that civilization. And then these nomads settle in cities, and they become soft and weak and corpulent and indulgent, and then new nomads come in, and that's how history is recycled. The weak, the strong become weak as they luxuriate in the luxury. They luxuriate in the comforts of urban life. Of um, that's that was Ibn Khaldun's hypothesis, and Satine takes a similar path, and he shows that using more modern, just an excellent book, excellent book. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I didn't explain it well. I should have prepared better, but this is from last year, so I've sort of forgotten. But I think it's Ibn Khaldun, and I think it's the Muqaddimah. I was trying to find it while also explaining his reference to it, but it's sort of like a circle. So you have the civilization, it gets weaker, nomads come in, take it over, they become strong, but then they become urban dwellers and they become soft, and then they get overrun by nomads, and it's circular, a circular. Again, one of the reasons why this is sort of pertinent for me, because for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm based in the Middle East, and I'm based in a country called the United Arab Emirates, which had a very nomadic history. I mean, its entire history was, this is a very desert. We're in the middle of the Arabian desert, the fringes of the empty quarter. So this was a very nomadic country, full of nomads. Once oil was discovered, it's changed completely. It's become a nation, and it's built cities. And the argument now is the Bedouin culture is dead. And are we becoming soft? Because it's become very wealthy, and the question becomes, will there be a new, are we going to get invaded by more vigorous, more nomadic, more, I don't know, ambitious uh, peoples? Because, like I said, the UAE has gone through this. The Emirates, the country that I'm from, it started as Bedouin nomadic, very hard scrabble life, very difficult life. With oil, they were able to build cities, but these cities are becoming, you know, the most famous city is Dubai, and Dubai has a reputation for luxury and ostentatious wealth and soft living. And there's been a war here. So again, it's pertinent. It's pertinent. That's all. It's a bit personal, but it's one of my favorites I read last year. The other one I read last year that was my favorite was this biography of Caesar by Adrian Goldworthy. Just a good biography, another big book, but just the complete, if you want, just a complete biography of Caesar. It's a good choice. I don't know. I'm sure there are others, but for me, I think this will do good. I was trying to, limit my Roman history shelves, try to cull it, but I think this one will stay. What I'm not sure is if this one will stay. This is the sequel. It's from the same author, Adrian Goldsworthy, and this is Augustus, from revolutionary to emperor. And this is so after Caesar is killed, Augustus takes over. It's not a smooth transition, but the only issue is that this wasn't as good as this. I felt that this was a bit rushed, and Augustus is although he had a long reign and he ruled Pax Romana, and he invented Pax Romana, but what Augustus did was he tried not to be controversial. After he assumed power, he just, he avoided any kind of rocking any chairs. He just wanted to maintain power. So there was not that much interesting things going on. You can see even the size. The Caesar biography is much larger than the Augustus, although I think Augustus lived much longer. So this one I don't know if I'll keep, but they look good together. And then I have another Adrian Goldsworthy, the same edition called Pax Romana, which I think is the sequel to this. So maybe I'll keep both, but this one I enjoyed from last year, Caesar's biography. And then the third book I enjoyed from last year was by Daniel L. Doctoroff, and it's called Greater Than Ever. The subtitle is New York's Big Comeback. Give you a background. Doctoroff he worked in corporate, like in management consulting, but he always had a dream to bring the Olympics to New York City, and he um, executed that dream. He started working in, again, I don't remember because this was from last year, it was early last year, but he eventually became close with Mayor who Michael Bloomberg, who eventually became Mayor Bloomberg of New York immediately after September 11th. Um, and he was tasked with being in charge of trying to bring the Olympics to New York. I think the Olympics was 2010. The idea was to bring the Olympics to New York, and it would be a sort of celebration as a comeback or renewal for the city after the destruction of after the events of 9/11. Of course, for anybody, not a spoiler, but New York doesn't win. They don't win. I think London wins the rights to host the 2010 Summer Olympics. I think it was 2010. Um, anyway, was it 2010 or 2012? I think it was 2012. Anyway, New York didn't win, but it's the journey, not the destination. And this is just excellent book. I was surprised by this. I enjoyed it. I also liked, the cover. You could have put the Twin Towers or the new Twin Tower. You could have put the Statue of Liberty or Times Square or the Empire State Building or whatever. But they chose a part of New York. It's one of his achievements as part of the Bloomberg administration. And I love books about cities. I love urban planning. I was when I was a kid, I was a fan of SimCity, the game. Um, but it doesn't get bigger than New York City. And you see some of the work they did. This is the World Trade Center, the wreckage, and then he goes through the whole drama of the before and after and the new memorial to 9/11. Um, his work on Atlantic Yards and Brooklyn. This you see on the cover is the High Line. This was there was the it was the above ground train system in New York City. They closed that down and they turned it into a park, and it was one of his signature projects. It says the High Line show in 2014, so you can see it in before and then after. Um, is now the third most visited site in New York City after Central Park and Times Square. And you can also see there's Hudson Yards. They call it the last frontier of New York City. Although I think Donald Trump criticized this project. There's more stuff at the High Line, and then there's stuff they did in Brooklyn. I know Brooklyn became very gentrified. I don't know if New Yorkers or people are happy with all this gentrification, but Doktorov he notes it, and it's also the ups and downs of trying to bring the Olympics to New York City. I think the plan was to turn. He wanted to, or the administration wanted to redevelop. What's the arena? Madison Square Garden. I don't know. The USA didn't win the Olympics. Los Angeles is going to host the Olympics in 2028, I believe. And America is currently hosting the World Cup, and the final will be in New York. So I don't know if that's a sort of what's the word, like a I can't remember the word. Like a good second place. What's the word? Anyway, very, very good book. I did promise that I would put one because I know you guys don't like nonfiction and you prefer fiction. So I promised to show one fiction book that I did enjoy from last year, and I chose this one ultimately to highlight. I did read quite a few fiction, but I'm gonna highlight this one. It's it's a Victorian novel by Anthony Trollope. It's Mr. Scarborough's Family. Sorry for the glare. You can see my camera there and my face, but anyway, you've seen Anthony Trollope, famous Victorian author. If you haven't read his books, pick up any of his books. They are just amazing, and there's so many characters. The premise of this book was a bit unrealistic. It's one of his more unrealistic premises. About inheritance, but he builds a story out of it, and with so many delightful characters. So many delightful characters, and it goes on and on. From a very thin premise, he builds a very fun, very enjoyable story. Just a enjoyable story. We should go on because this video is going long, and we've only done three. So this is number four. How many books did you read last year? I have the number. Uh, because I'm recording. I've been recording it since last year, actually. So, 70 in December. I read 70 books. How many books have you rated as 5 stars this year? This year, I don't do 5 star ratings. I don't do 5 star ratings. So, I did discuss in a previous book some of the favorites I've read so far, but as 5 stars, I'm going to skip that also to save time. 6. Do you have a reading target for this year? Are you on track? I had a small target. I read 70 last year. I said if I can improve that, that's an improvement. So if I did 71, that's an improvement. But I don't like these numbers, like when they say, how many have you read? Because if you read a big, thick 1,000 page book, that counts as one. But if you read 6 books that are 100 pages each, that counts as 6. So it doesn't really. I'm not a big fan of these numbers and targets, but I was hoping to reach 70. Am I on track? No, because I was traveling and I did very little reading, and it looks like I'm going to be traveling again in the coming weeks, and that's going to affect my reading. So I think 2026 is going to be much lower than 2025. I didn't travel as much in 2025 as I did in 2026, and that's it's going to have an effect. So, oh well. I'm not going to sacrifice opportunities for the 6 or 7 of you who watch my videos. But prompt number 7, or question number 7: how many pages long is the book you are currently reading now? Well, I just showed it. I think the main book I'm reading is this one. Hold on, let me just get a little bit organized here. This one, The Crusades by Thomas Asbridge. This is 681 pages, not including the notes and the index. Excuse me, 684. 684. So big book. Number 8. How long are your videos? Very long. This one is long too. I tend to go on and on. I try to talk fast. I don't even take breaks, but I just talk fast. I try to fit in as much as I can. Sometimes I give too much information. I know that, and I apologize. The other reason I think my videos are a bit long is because I give a big back, like my introductions are long. And I give introductions long because I don't know if there's a new person coming to the channel. And my channel is a bit episodic. So for example, this series we're at volume 10. Now you don't need to watch volume 1 to 9 to enjoy this. They're standalone, but sometimes I go into my introductions and I become repetitive, and my introductions become long, and that makes my videos longer than they should. So by just skipping an introduction, which I try to do now, although I think this one was a bit long, I can shave off a good 5, 7, 10-minute long introductions that I do. So my videos are long. I'm working on making them shorter. I apologize in advance. Number 9. Do you have a favorite number? I don't know. It's a random question, but I think, do you have a favorite number? The number 10, like I mentioned earlier, is a football player. Number 10 is an important jersey number. It's like you're the star of the team. But that's not my favorite number. What is my favorite number? I really don't know. And then question 10 is the last question. Okay. Do you have a book on your shelves with a number in the title or on the cover? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I could have picked, again, I'm a big history nonfiction reader. I have a lot of books with a year on the title. So like, 19 whatever, or the year 2000, or 18 whatever. But I decided to pick a book with a large number. The book is called 10,001 Nights, and it's by Sir Harry C. Sinderson Pasha. Try to say that quickly 10 times. Sinderson Pasha. Sir Harry, it can also be Dr. Sinderson Pasha. Sinderson was the physician to the Iraqi royal house, and this is his memoirs. It's the memoirs of the Iraqi Sharifian dynasty. He was a doctor. This is the Iraqi royal family standard. Of course, Iraq is no longer a monarchy, it's become a republic. There was a revolution after this. Um, there was a revolution in 1958, but this was Sinderson Pasha, was the doctor for the early kings of Iraq. There was only three kings. He was a doctor to the family, and the royal family only really lasted for 35 years. And Sinderson Pasha was there for most of it. So he gives an insider. This book was a bit destroyed. This was my grandfather's book. I inherited it. I fixed it up a bit, but it's still a bit crap. But that's Sinderson Pasha. He was there for most of the royal family's time, and he was their doctor. So he had intimate insider knowledge. And this is his memoirs, and it's a play on the 1001 Nights, Arabian Nights. This is 10,001 Nights, and he goes through the family drama like a maid or a butler who knows everything that's going on in a family's history, family's day to day life. Sinderson Pasha was that person, especially because the last king was a bit sickly, and he was the Iraqi royal family, the queen mother, basically the king's mother, she was doting on her son, and she ensured that Sinderson Pasha, Dr. Sinderson, was always there, always on hand in case something happened to the king. Um, but you'll see here there's a foreword by Dame Freya Stark. Again, he was a doctor, but he was knighted. He was knighted for his services to medicine, but when you have access to the royal family of Iraq, you're also a spy. And for those of you who are regulars on my channel, you know that I have my own book idea. I've got this idea for a book that's really, this is one of my main, um, what can you say, sources for characters, because explains the three kings, as well as the king's wives, the queen, their wives, their mothers, their sisters. He's a good source to have because he was right there, and he's actually a character in my book. So I have this idea. It's a historical thriller, historical fiction that is based in Iraq during this period, the 1930s and then World War II. So this is a book that's I'm happy to have because it's good. It's a good again resource, good for sourcing and getting ideas for characters and for dialogue and all that good stuff. So yeah, 10,001 Nights, that's the number. That's the end of the tag. That was the last one. I'm supposed to tag others. This tag is months and months old. Even um, uh, Andrew's version is over a month old. So if you want to do this and you still haven't, feel free to do it. Do check out Andrew. He's linked below in the description, the video description. Check out his channel, subscribe to him, all that good stuff. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you, BookTube. Salute.